Why be single? Okay. Well, we have quite a few things that we can look at here. Saving of money, saving of time, not having to get emotionally invested in other people. You can do things as you see fit, not having to consult with others. You can just go wherever, do whatever. But that's really not the point of this video. And before I go any further, I don't want anything that I'm going to share with you in this video keep you from desiring a relationship, desiring marriage, desiring to be with somebody. Your boy is single. And I desire marriage. I desire relationship. And singleness is important. Your single season is perhaps the most important season to be developed for the relationship and marriage that you potentially may want. So why be single? Here are a few reasons to consider. Reason number one, you're healing. If you've just gotten out of a breakup, if you've just gotten out of a long-term relationship, if you've just gotten out of a commitment with somebody or a potential commitment with somebody, and there was some damage from this relationship, maybe some traumatic events, maybe some abuse, maybe there were a lot of things that took place that damaged how you think, your feelings, your emotions, that damaged you greatly. Take a break. Don't invest into getting into another relationship with somebody else. You're in a healing journey, and healing is not linear. It takes time. For some people, hey, maybe you do get over things quickly, but for many others, it takes a lot of rewiring, takes a lot of uncoupling, takes a lot of dealing with emotions and wrapping our minds around getting back to where we were prior to the emotional damage that has taken place in our lives due to being connected and now separated from someone else. This is a season that's dedicated to you learning more about yourself, rebuilding your relationship with God, and furthermore, allowing yourself to deal with the hurt, pain, and emotions that you have left within you in order to learn how to navigate and reappropriate said emotions for the next relationship that you may want to invest in. The last thing we want to do is find ourselves rushing this healing process or lie to ourselves saying we don't need healing for the sake of trying to be with someone else, thinking that person is going to heal us or make us better in any kind of way due to how we felt from the previous relationship or connection that we're now disconnected from. Don't get into it because you're lonely. Don't get into it and don't rush into a relationship because it's something that's new, hot, and everybody's doing it. If you're healing, remain in the singleness and be single. Here's the second reason: lack of clarity for direction and assignment for your life. If you are unsure about where you're going, where you're headed, and what you need to make room for as you are understanding more and more of your assignment, calling, direction, and purpose in this life, be single. When it comes to connecting with others and building relationships, we have to know who makes sense for where we're trying to go. Oftentimes we try to accommodate or adjust ourselves to the person that we're connected to instead of being steadfast and planted in our direction, in our calling, in our assignment, and looking for the right people and, for romantic reasons, person to be with us and align with our direction and where we're headed. This is really important because you don't want to find yourself abandoning what you are called to do in this life for the sake of keeping somebody else in your life because you don't know what life is like without them, or you don't want to imagine what life is like without them. Anybody who causes you to walk away from any assignment and calling on your life is somebody that does not need to be in your life to such a degree as a romantic partner. In order to know who we need to have in our lives, the type of people we need to invest in for our lives, is knowing where we're going and knowing the direction that we have in front of us. As God placed on your heart to do in this life, that is for his kingdom, that is for others, and that is bigger than yourself. And if you're unsure how to determine your calling, your purpose, and where to go from there, click the link in the description. It will take you to a video covering 10 questions of purpose, or pushing you into the realm of purpose to get you to start thinking of some things that God is possibly putting on your heart to move towards. And of course, taking these things in prayer and building relationship with Christ himself. Reason number 3, capacity. This is where it's really important that you are honest with what you have room for in this season of life? Do you have room to include somebody, make time for somebody, intentionally pursue with or for towards somebody? Do you have time to plan and be intentional with dates, spending time and doing things together with someone else that you're interested in? If you do not have said capacity, don't force it, and don't get into a relationship. Dating relationships, romantic relationships that we create with others is already something in and of itself that we're learning as we journey along with this specific person that we're dating, that we're seeing, that we're interested in, and that we want to invest in. We're learning so much more about them as they're learning so much more about us in closer proximity and being together. The last thing that you want to do is find yourself in this said relationship and trying to figure out if you even have room enough in your life for said relationship after you've committed. Because now we're stepping into territory of wasting that person's time, you're wasting your time, and someone is getting hurt along the way, being drug along because you aren't really too sure what you have room for, therefore not really being clear enough with that other person as to where you're going, what you see, what you have room for, and what you're willing to do in this space. Communicate really well where you are, what you have room for, and be able to honestly say that I can intentionally give my all to this person and be intentional with every action, direction, and things that I want to do here for this relationship to blossom and grow. Reason number 4, loneliness. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but I do want to come back around and discuss it just a little bit deeper in nuance. Loneliness cannot be a reason why you jump into a relationship. Simply because all your friends are in one, maybe all your friends are getting married, things in your environment are kind of shifting in relationship atmosphere, and it seems like everybody is getting with somebody but you. You're tired of coming to Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas tables and having to explain why you have no boo, answering all these kinds of questions. Don't worry. You are heard and understood in that space. But we can't use that as an influential motivational factor for us to step into a relationship, because there's so much more that is at stake and that is necessary for a relationship to really make it out to be what it all can be, outside of you just having somebody on your shoulder, someone to call boo and bae, someone to get the good morning, good night text messages, and somebody that you can talk on the phone from sun up to sundown. There's so much more involved. And by you only having this relationship because you are afraid of being alone simply says a lot about the things that you are afraid of dealing with about yourself, therefore keeping you from enjoying your company and finding solitude and solidarity in your singleness. So the challenge for you is not to get into a relationship with someone else, but to gain relationship with yourself. Find out some things that you like and you don't like. Deal with a lot of the inner emotions, thoughts, and questions that you have that are within you. Maybe that you've been running to other devices, other things to get away from. Your singleness is the time to deal with those things. Go and get therapy if you need it. Find somebody, a mentor, coach, family member, friend, someone that you can have entrusted, safe, vulnerable conversations with to walk through and journey through the many things that you may be dealing with as a part of your singleness and growing as an individual to become prepared for the relationship that you desire to have. Goal to walk into a relationship is not to be perfect. It is to walk in it with less baggage and be as whole as possible in order to create a loving, healthy relationship with somebody else that you are desiring to be with. We can't do that if we are only getting into this relationship for the sake of not wanting to be alone and for the sake of being tired of our phones being dry and not having somebody to talk to. Think through these things and be willing to wrestle with some of the things that you are struggling with inwardly, processing your emotions, gaining emotional stability, awareness, and along the way, healthy and becoming healthy for the relationship you desire to create. And then finally, reason number 5, your lack of cultivating current relationships. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about the friendships here, right? Although those are relationships that I think if you care much about, you are cultivating, you desire to cultivate, and you desire to invest your time in. But I'm speaking of some other relationships that all of us, whether we're single or we're already in romantic relationships, carry and that we need to cultivate in order to find ourselves in the best positions possible to say, I'm ready for the journey of a relationship. You have a relationship to cultivate with your creator, a relationship to cultivate with your calling, and a relationship to cultivate with your capacity. A lot of these things we've already touched in this video, but it is important that you begin and you are actively cultivating, maintaining, that you are participating in growing healthily these three relationships in your life as a single individual. You already have relationship with the creator, with God. What does your beliefs look like? What does your foundation look like? Your values look like? What does your relationship to God look like? Where's your faith? Where's your foundation? And are you actively pursuing that and investigating in that? Are you actively seeking truth? Is Jesus Christ someone that you have foundation and belief in? And if not, I think it is important that you take time to seek out truth. Seek out truth to determine where your values and foundations ought to be in order to live the best life possible. If you ask your boy, Jesus got out the grave. Ain't no defeating that. Relationship with your calling. Again, what's your assignment? What's your direction? What's your vision? What are you called to do in this life? What has God placed on your heart that you ought to be tending to and multiplying, maintaining, and cultivating for the future that you are building for? And more importantly, something that is bigger than yourself, that is designed to help others along the way. Then finally, capacity. What do you have room for? Do you have room to include somebody completely, fully, wholly in your life? Do you have room to include somebody else's vision, dream, direction into your life without having to change them in order to make the relationship make sense? Are you okay with being where you are, who you are, and not having to force somebody to see things the way you do, be where you are in order for a relationship to even happen? Are you okay with being yourself by yourself? Are you healthy, whole, and complete before you come into another relationship, therefore not needing somebody else to feel like they need to complete you in order to be complete? Are you at peace? Are you able to look at somebody and say you may want them, but you don't need them? Have you done the healing work emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically? Have you done these things, even financially? Can you say that you are actively doing the work and that you have done the work to be in a position to say, I am ready to embark on the journey of a dating relationship? If you can confidently say those things, happy dating to you. If not, this is why you should be single. Don't let this discourage you. I believe that you can find a relationship. I believe you can find somebody who is going to love you and honor you. I believe that you are able to be married and one day have a wonderful family, if that's something that you truly desire. In the process of getting to those positions and places, it is necessary that we cultivate the right relationships that we currently have in our lives, that we currently look to invest in putting ourselves in the best positions possible to maintain healthy relationships that we are looking to invest and create for long-term perspective and positioning that awaits us in our future. Singleness is a process. Singleness is meant to be enjoyed. And singleness is an important season that is dedicated for us to learn how to move in alignment with the principles and practices of God in order to find ourselves prepared for what God has created in beauty, in holiness, in matrimony, in marriage, in relationship with someone else, where two become one under God in covenant. So let's take our singleness just as serious as we would our driver's exam, as we would bar exams, as we would any kind of classes that we're taking, as we would even smaller things that we care so much about. Let's take our singleness just as serious to prepare ourselves for the best position possible in journeying into a romantic relationship with someone else, ultimately with the goal in mind of bearing marriage. I'm not saying these are all the reasons why you should be single, but these are important 5 reasons why I believe that you should be single until you find yourself ready to embark on the journey of a romantic relationship with someone else. Listen, if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe, turn on the post notification bell so you know the next time we're posting. Like this video, share this with a friend who also wants to know why they should be single in such a time as this. And your boy appreciates you oh so much for tuning in. And as always, until the next conversation, be easy and be breezy, my friend. Peace.